So I think there's also a greater risk of stagflation and this episode being with us for some number of years than the market is currently discounting.
All right, that is former Obama economic advisor Larry Summers saying the United States could see stagflation for years to come. We're going to bring our panel for reaction. With us today is former New York Congresswoman and member of the Independent Women's Forum, Nan Hayworth, MD. Also with us, Newsmax contributor and ambassador with the American First Policy Institute, Tom Borelli, Ph.D. Plus, Republican congressional candidate for the state of Washington, Corey Gibson. Good to see all three of you here. We'll move right through this here just for viewers to understand. Stagflation is where the inflation rate's high, economic growth slows, unemployment remains steady here. But again, Nan, if I could start with you, talk to me about this. Is stagflation the concern? Is recession the concern here? Talk to me about that.
Well, both are concerns, Sean. We have an administration that has fundamentally throttled down American productivity in general by shutting off access to new opportunities in American domestic energy production. Meanwhile, they're pumping money into the economy artificially by essentially subsidizing unemployment. Well, that increases the demand for goods and services, but goods and services are scarce because we're having trouble with productivity, including trying to hire people. We've got great employment, but we're still suffering from businesses trying to find people to hire. So it's a bad recipe, and all of it has to do with terrible policy, Sean. It could all be solved if they stopped sending money into the economy and throttled up U.S. domestic energy production. To
stay on this topic, Tom Borelli, I'll bring you into this. Secretary Janet Yellen recently spoke on the Sunday shows, all but redefining what a recession is. By definition, it is 2 quarters of negative GDP growth, as we well know. However, she says with employment and other factors, it may not be a recession. Essentially, the White House is downplaying what a recession is, or if a recession, rather the recession risk, I should say, as we find this out, if the United States is in a recession this week. Tom, talk to me about that. Why downplay the recession risk for the United States of America?
Well, Sean, I think you just referred to it with respect to the second quarter GDP is out at the end of this week on Friday. So now they're trying to redefine what a recession is. This is what this administration does. It's always redefining words because they're a complete disaster. Arguably, we're already in stagflation. The first GDP report this year, negative growth at 1.6%. We already have inflation at 9.1%. So we already have 2 of those aspects. The only thing we're hanging on to now is jobs. But jobs can follow. That's a lagging indicator. And some big companies have already reported to either having hiring freezes or they're laying people off. So it doesn't look good for the economy, and the American people are suffering because of Biden's massive incompetence.
Corey, I'll bring you into this, obviously running for your own political office yourself. Many of these decisions will be on the economy. Talk to me about this and what you've been seeing in the headlines.
Well, I think that the conversation that people are having here in Washington's 4th District is the same conversation they're having all over the country. And that is, we know it works. You know, we need to get back to the Trump America First policies, because the contrast that we see between what Trump was able to do for our economy and for our country and what Biden has done, which is the exact opposite, has painted a very, very clear picture. And what the other panelists said was absolutely right. They keep changing the definition of words to suit whatever they want to do. They've changed racism, they've changed the definition of gender, they've changed the definition of vaccines, and now they're going to do it with with inflation.
Recession. Yeah, recession, again, the definition of that. That, again, on the Sunday shows there. I want to bring this topic in, and Corey kind of touched on it, Joe Biden's presidency. It continues to take hits now. In this one from a surprising outlet, many may find surprising. The Washington Post had an op-ed out saying this: "Quit, Joe, quit. Biden could save the midterms with a one-term pledge." It goes on to say that quiet campaign against him could essentially go against the president here. Talk to me about this, Nan. Did you read this op-ed? Were you surprised that it came out again? It's calling for not only Biden to not run in 2024, but to announce it earlier to help in the midterms. Nan.
Well, Joe Biden is an albatross and an anchor on the Democrat Party at this point. So, in a sense, Sean, it doesn't surprise me that the Washington Post, whose primary editorial drive is to promote the Democrat leftist agenda, doesn't surprise me that they want to get rid of Biden because he is distinctly unpopular. He's down now, I think, now to 31% on average in these polls, approval rating. The only ones left are the members of his administration. So it actually doesn't surprise me at all. And technically, the advice would be the right advice, but I don't think he'll take it.
I got to leave it right there. I believe that we are out of time, so we appreciate the panelists today. Nan Hayworth, MD, Tom Borelli, PhD, and Corey Gibson running there for congressional seat there in Washington State. Thank you so much.